Who's actually going to get the most out of an industrial-grade label printer like the Zebra ZT231, and who could safely skip it without feeling the sting of a bad purchase? If you're trying to decide whether the price is justified for a shop floor that prints a few dozen tags a day versus a warehouse that churns out thousands, that's the question we need to answer. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The hesitation most buyers feel isn't about the specs on the box. It's about whether the machine will fit into their daily workflow without turning label printing into a headache. Let's start with the environment where this printer really shines. Imagine a distribution center that needs durable, barcode safety labels for pallets, or a manufacturing line that prints compliance stickers on the fly. In those settings, the ZT231's Built-O-Tough claim isn't just marketing fluff. The metal chassis and sealed printhead are designed to survive the dust, temperature swings, and occasional bumps that happen when you're moving pallets around. Users have reported that the printer can stay on a concrete slab for months without needing a recalibration, which is a huge time saver when you're trying to keep a line moving. On the flip side, if you're a small office that only prints a handful of address labels per week, that same ruggedness can feel like overkill. The unit is a 4-inch printer, which means you need to buy ribbons and labels that match that width. For a home-based entrepreneur, the ongoing consumable cost might outweigh the benefit of not having ink or toner, especially when a cheap desktop label printer can handle occasional jobs with far less upfront investment. One of the first practical things you'll notice when you unbox the ZT231 is the touch color LCD. It looks sleek, but its real value shows up when you're changing media or troubleshooting on the floor. The screen lets you navigate through settings without needing a laptop, and you can pull up a quick, media loaded, check to confirm you're not about to print on the wrong stock. In a noisy warehouse where you can't hear a beep, that visual feedback is a genuine productivity boost. However, the interface isn't as intuitive as a consumer-grade printer. The menu hierarchy can feel a bit deep if you're not familiar with Zebra's terminology, so you'll spend a few minutes in the manual before you're truly fluent. Connectivity is another area where the ZT231 tries to cover all bases. It comes with USB, serial, and Ethernet ports, which means you can hook it up to a legacy POS system, a modern PC, or integrate it directly into a networked workflow. For shops that already have an Ethernet-enabled label management system, the plug-and-play nature saves a lot of configuration time. That said, the serial port is a relic that most newer systems don't use, so if you're only planning on a USB connection, the extra ports are nice to have, but not a decisive factor. Now, about the ink and toner-free promise. The printer uses thermal transfer technology, which means you load a ribbon that fuses the ink onto the label surface. The upside is you never have to worry about cartridge leaks or running out of toner mid-print. The ribbons are relatively inexpensive per roll, and the print quality stays razor-sharp for years because there's no toner dust to settle on the printhead. The downside is you're locked into a consumable that isn't as readily available as standard toner cartridges. If your supplier runs out of the specific Zebra ribbon, you could face a few days of downtime unless you have a backup stock. For high-volume environments that can keep a small inventory of ribbons on hand, that's manageable. But for a small shop that orders on demand, it could be a hiccup. Speed matters, too. The ZT231 can pump out labels at a pace that feels instant in a busy line. You'll see a crisp barcode appear on a tag in under a second. That speed translates directly into less bottleneck at the point of labeling. In practice, I've seen teams place the printer right next to a conveyor, and the operator simply taps a barcode on a handheld scanner and watches the label print without needing to press start. If you're dealing with low volume, occasional prints, that rapid response might feel unnecessary, but it does eliminate the feeling of waiting around for a printer to catch up. Reliability is the promise behind the steady, reliable performance badge. In the field, that usually means the printer doesn't jam, the media feeds smoothly, and the printhead doesn't need frequent cleaning. The ZT231's feed mechanism uses a pinch roller that grips the label tightly, which reduces misfeeds even when the roll is near empty. Real-world users have noted that the printer can run for weeks without a single error message, a stark contrast to cheaper desktop models that can stall on the first sticky label. Of course, no machine is completely immune to issues. If you load a label roll that isn't perfectly centered, the first few prints can be skewed, and you'll